big piano, isn't it?
Good morning. My name is Karen C. Morels, and I serve on the board of the DuPage Unitarian Universalist Church. I welcome everyone to our service this morning. It's one of my favorite services of the year. And I want to welcome visitors to our open and inclusive community of faith. As Unitarian Universalists, we hold that there are many spiritual paths to truth and meaning, and we support one another as we explore these paths. I would like to especially welcome our guests and welcome again those who have visited us before. Visitors, it is the custom of our congregation to invite you to stand and give your name and where you are from if you feel comfortable doing so. Are there any visitors this morning who would like to introduce themselves? Woo. Welcome. Welcome. So welcome to everyone visiting today. Please join us after the service for coffee hour. We would love to have a chance to get to know you better. Our minister, Reverend Tom Capo, and our congregational life coordinator, Mary Law, and all of our members are eager to meet you. I will also be present after the service in Creeves Hall and would be happy to speak to you as well. Our service can be heard outside the glass doors in the back of the sanctuary should anyone feel the need to leave during the service for any reason. There are chairs provided outside for your convenience. As we start our service this morning, I'd like to ask that you please silence all electronic devices.
I light this chalice in celebration of the Christmas story and in celebration of a new life announced by every star that has ever shone.
Welcome everyone to our church for our Christmas holiday pageant service. We are happy to see everyone here today. I'm Reverend Tom Capo, minister of this church.
I'm Steve Cooper, the Director of Religious Education for our church. Today, we're going to share the story of the birth of Jesus. We call it the Nativity, from the Gospels of Luke and Matthew. But today, we're not just going to reread the story or retell it, we're going to relive it.
You may ask, why do we celebrate the Nativity? Most of us do not believe that Jesus was a deity. Most probably do not believe in angels or a virgin birth. True, but we believe in songs which are born in the hearts and minds of people. We believe that some stories deserve to live forever because of what they tell us about ourselves. The angels singing an anthem of peace and goodwill deserve to be heard forever because they are angels in our human hearts. The humble shepherds who have ears to hear and hearts to receive a message of joy deserve to live to the end of time. The wise people, so faithfully seeking the way of a star, deserve to go in search again each year as long as years shall be, for they are the story of our quest for ourselves.
Rather than just hearing or watching the story, we're going to get inside of it and make it our own story as much as possible. This, of course, depends entirely on everyone's good will and cooperation. Some of you, we hope, will take part in the story and help us to see and experience this familiar, beloved tale in a new way, as if we were actually present within the story, as if it were happening right here and right now, as if we have never heard this story before.
Although nativity drawings and paintings existed earlier, St. Francis of Assisi celebrated Christmas by setting up the first known three-dimensional nativity scene around the year 1220. He used real animals to create a living scene so that the worshipers could contemplate the birth of the child Jesus in a direct way, making use of the senses, especially sight. He only used a straw-filled feeding trough set between an ox and a donkey. It was beautiful in its simplicity, with the manger acting as the altar for the Christmas Mass.
Our nativity scene will be a little bit more elaborate. We're going to read the story, which has been slightly rewritten, and we will recognize all the familiar characters and the familiar plot of the ancient story. Several times during the story, we'll pause and ask for volunteers to play some of the parts in the story. If you wish to be in the story, raise your hand when we ask for volunteers, and we'll call on you. And our stage managers will invite you to go over to the costume area where we have stage crew to help you with your costumes.
No matter if you come up to the dais or not, everyone is a participant in this service. For witnessing its creation is as vital as playing a part in it. Steve and I will be narrating the story and pointing to people who raise their hands. We will send them to the costume area. The Youth Religious Education Committee oversees the costumes, and we'll get everybody robed and ready for their right parts. Once costumed, they will help steer them in the right direction for their position in this nativity scene.
So the stage managers will help you find the place where you are to go and to tell you what to do next. And as the story is being read, listen carefully, and you will also hear some directions about what you are to do. All you must do, volunteers, is listen to the stage manager's directions and to the directions you hear in the story. But don't worry about mistakes. There are no mistakes. So if there are any little ones out there that can't see the stage, go ahead and situate yourselves so that you are able to see the stage. We want to make sure that everybody can see the story. Because this story is a beautiful and meaningful one, and we are here to be moved by it once again. But we are also here to have fun. So let the mystery begin.
We bring you this morning the ancient story of the Nativity, the story of the birth of Jesus. Listen to and watch the story as if it were the first time you had ever seen it. Imagine that you had never heard it before.
Imagine that this ancient story is really happening right here and right now in our sanctuary.
Imagine that after years and years of hearing stories about women and men bowing down before powerful kings and emperors and dictators and chieftains and tyrants, you finally hear a story in which powerful, wise kings, queens, and shepherds alike kneel before one tiny newborn baby.
Imagine that after hearing so many stories about terrible wars, about persecutions and ethnic cleansings, you hear the friendly story of a birth, the story of a humble carpenter and his wife, the baby that is born to them in a stable, shepherds in a starlit field who leave their sheep to go and see the newborn child, and gentle animals who gather round in the stable where the baby lies in a manger.
Imagine that in this story, all the people are longing for peace and goodwill to all people everywhere.
Imagine that you are hearing for the first time a story that questions the power of large armies and great wealth.
Imagine that you hear a story that talks about the transforming power of love instead of the transforming power of the military.
Imagine, if you can, a day in the future when people will really believe this story, will really believe that love is more powerful than war, that poor, humble people are just as important and just as powerful as the most famous and powerful rulers.
Listen carefully now, because that's the story we are about to hear. So let the story begin.
First, we need the Emperor Caesar. In those days, long, long ago, 2,000 years ago, a decree went out from the Emperor Caesar Augustus saying,
"And all the world should be registered so that they can pay taxes to me."
All the people were required to go to the city or town where they had been born to register. For some people, that meant a long journey.
Joseph, a carpenter, had to go all the way from the town of Nazareth in Galilee to Judea to the city of David that was called Bethlehem, to the same village of Bethlehem that is still there today. Joseph went to be registered with Mary, the woman he was planning to marry. Joseph and Mary had traveled a long way, and they knew it would not be easy because Mary was expecting her child very soon, and she'd be very uncomfortable both walking and riding their donkey. But there was nothing that could be done about it. They had to go. So they started their journey, traveling day and sometimes through the dark nights, which were lit only by bright stars.
We need some stars. And we're looking for some bigger stars. We need 6. Jane.
Stars are higher.
Robin. Tiffany. Mac. And Stepan. I think that's 6. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing the first verse of Song 246, O Little Town of Bethlehem. The words will be projected.
Dream
While Mary and Joseph were in Bethlehem, the time came for Mary to have her baby, but there was no room for them in the inn, which was the only place with comfortable beds. Joseph looked everywhere, but the only place he could find for Mary to give birth to the baby was a stable behind the inn, where there were 2 donkeys, 3 mice, 1 ram, 4 cows, and an ox.
So we now need
Yeah, right.
3 little mice. 1, 2, 3. A donkey, Harper, a ram, right there. 4 cows, Hayden, Timothy, Trey, Alexis, and an ox, big ox. Tina, you're welcome to be. Now, you know the job of the ox is to make sure the rest of the animals behave. Why don't we get them more on that side?
Oh.
Our ox is on its way.
I got it. Could the travelers make use of this place
Sure.
and sleep with the animals? It would give them at least some cover and protection in the cold wind.
The animals welcomed Mary and Joseph into the stables, and the animals were even kind enough to give up their hay-filled manger so that the baby could have a bed. Thus, Mary gave birth to her firstborn child in a simple stable surrounded by animals, and wrapped him up in bands of cloth and placed him in the manger. Please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing. Join us in singing song number 243, Jesus Our Brother. The words will be projected.
In that region, there were shepherds living in the fields, keeping watch over their flocks by night. Guess you know what's coming, huh? Now we need 1 large shepherd, 2 small shepherds, and 6 little sheep. And you can go to the shaming area and be
Becky,
rude.
you can be the large shepherd. You have a speaking part. Mason will be a shepherd. Colin, you'll be a shepherd. Sheep. Max. Holland. Both of the Mirabales.
We got one up here. Steve.
And I think I need 1 more sheep. So if you want to be a sheep, yes. Yep. Now that very night, in an open field, on a hillside, a mile or so from town, a few shepherds were standing around a blazing fire. Some were sleeping, while others kept sharp watch of every moving thing on the hillside, lest a wolf sneak up in the dark and climb the wall into the sheepfold.
Right here. Stay here. Max, stay here. But it was not a wolf that surprised these shepherds that night. A shining angel suddenly flew down the sky and lighted on the ground beside them.
We now need 1 big angel and 4 little angels. We have our big angel, and Emma will be a little angel. You can be an angel. We need 2 more little angels. You want to be an angel? And you can be a little angel with her. While the angels are preparing, please stand in body or spirit and join us in singing the first 2 verses of hymn number 237, the first Noel.
Then an angel of the Lord stood before them, and this angel was truly magnificent, and the glory of the Lord shone around the shepherds, and they were terrified. But the angel said to them,
"Do not be afraid, for I'm bringing you good news of great joy for all the people. Born today in the city of David is a Savior. He is the Messiah, the Lord. You will find a child wrapped in cloth and lying in a manger."
And suddenly there with the angel was a multitude of angels. Come on, multitude. And the angels were saying,
Glory to God.
The highest.
Heaven, and peace on earth, goodwill among all people everywhere.
Then the angels left the shepherd and seemed to go right up into the heavens.
Okay, am I going away?
And the shepherds said to one another,
"Let us go now to Bethlehem and see this thing that has taken place, which has been made known to us."
Please stand in body or spirit and join in singing hymn number 231, Angels We Have Heard on High. So the shepherds went quickly to Bethlehem with their sheep, and there they found Mary and Joseph and the child lying in the manger, just as the angel had said it would be. When the shepherds saw this, they told everyone what the angel had said to them about this newborn child. And everyone who heard their story was amazed. But Mary kept all these things and treasured them in her heart. And so the shepherds and sheep knelt too around the manger, glorifying and praising God for all the wonders they had heard and seen and had been told to them.
After Jesus was born in Bethlehem, wise persons who were kings and queens from the Far East came to Jerusalem. We need a total of 8 wise persons to go to the costume area now.
Ryan, you, Sasha, yes, Ben, Dima. I'm going to go for 3 more. Ilya, yes, you too. One more. And Declan. That night, as they were sitting on the roof watching the sky, they saw a bright new star where they had never seen such a star before. They wondered what it meant. What important event just happened somewhere on earth? One of them thought that a child had been born who was going to be a very great and good man. The wise persons learned from the king about a prophecy which had been spoken long ago, that the Messiah would be born in Bethlehem. So the wise persons set out for Bethlehem.
"Where is the child who has been born King of the Jews? For we observed his star in the skies, and we have come to praise him and bring him gifts."
Now we need a volunteer for our special star. Somebody to be a star?
Last chance. All right, Rourke. And there, ahead of them, went the star that they had seen when it first appeared in the east.
Please remain seated and let us join together in singing hymn 259, We Three Kings of Orient Are.
When the wise persons saw the star had stopped, they were overwhelmed with joy and entered into the stable. There they saw the child with his mother, and they knelt down with their bags and brought out gifts of gold and frankincense and myrrh, which they had brought with them. Each night a child is born is a holy night, a time for singing, a time for wondering, a time for worshiping.
Now we have gathered our whole nativity scene. So let's pause for a moment and look at this scene. It's a special night with stars and angels and shepherds and wise persons and many animals, and they all bear witness to a special birth. No doubt the birth of Jesus 2,000 years ago in the stable in Bethlehem looked a little different than this. A little. No doubt our sanctuary is a little finer than that small, dirty stable. But the love and the mystery and the wonder that we see here is no different from the wonder that was there at the time of Jesus' birth. As our complete cast holds their place in the nativity scene, let us celebrate the love and wonder of this story by singing together hymn number 245, Joy to the World. Please stand in body or spirit. Thank you all for being part of our nativity scene, both those up here and those seated. Do we read?
Shall we sing one more time? Another verse or two, Bonnie? You good with that? While we let everybody settle? a rounding rendition of Joy to the World. Everybody stand up. Let's sing this.
All right. Please be seated.
Thank you all for participating. A tradition that has been held at this church for many years is our mitten tree. We start with a bare tree and decorate it with mittens, gloves, scarves, and hats. These items are then given to the children whose families might not be able to afford them otherwise. So at this time, we're going to decorate our mitten tree. If you brought any items to donate, please line up and decorate the tree, and we will also take the offering at the same time. May the candles we light this season remind us of the glowing love within the heart.
May the carols we sing uplift our spirits and renew our hope and vision. May the special moments we spend with family and friends strengthen the bonds of caring between us at this time and throughout the entire year. Now I invite you to rise, turn around, and greet one another. Let us share a greeting and then go get some hot chocolate. Woohoo!